Okay, so we were discussing about land degradation, and previously we have discussed the definition of land degradation. It means the qualitative loss of soil, and it also means quantitative loss of soil. When we say qualitative loss, we indicate about soil fertility. Once when we say quantitative loss, we indicate about soil erosion, where volume of soil is lost from an area. In both way, we are losing the soil in volume as well as the quality or fertility of the soil, and land degradation therefore is responsible for bringing down the quality of the soil or land of an area and render it unfit for human utilization and the subsequent benefit that we get out of it. So there are certain causes of land degradation. To begin with, the most simple cause of land degradation is deforestation. If we cut the tree and if we continue deforestation, then what happens? The soil of an area becomes poor in fertility, then the water content of the soil is also less, and then there are other consequences due to open to the forces of weather and climate. What happens? The soil is exposed to erosional activity or denudational activity. Some of you have asked me what is denudation. The meaning of denudation is combined action of erosion and weathering. Weathering means breaking and erosion means removal. So denudation means that the soil is broken down or weathered down, and then finally it is removed from one place to another. So denudation is one impact of land degradation. The soil or the surface of an area gets denuded with passage of time. जैसे जैसे समय पास होता है, जो धरती है वो एक्सपोज्ड हो जाते हैं वेदर एलिमेंट्स के चेंजेस, जैसे टेम्परेचर, रेनफॉल हो गया, और अगर कोई बैरन लैंड है तो उस जगह में जो है वेदरिंग के जो इम्पैक्ट होते हैं वो ज्यादा प्रोफाउंड होते हैं, ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग हम लोग जो है उसका ये देख सकते हैं, एक्शन या एक्टिविटी देख सकते हैं. तो इस तरह से जो है लैंड डिग्रेडेशन जो है वो धीरे धीरे किसी जमीन को खराब करता है, और हम जमीन का बहुत सारा यूज करते हैं अपने सर्वाइवल, इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट के लिए, और अपने जो घर बनते हैं, रास्ते बनते हैं, इंडस्ट्री बनते हैं, वो सब हमारे जो है लैंड रिलेटेड ही एक्टिविटीज है. इफ द लैंड कंटिन्यूज टू become degraded, then we are ultimately the loser. We cannot get the benefit out of it. So we must check land degradation. Now we will understand some other terms related to land degradation. Land degradation in hilly area, hilly or mountain. Then land degradation in coastal areas. Then deserts. Then so we have identified few localities where land degradation takes place. In hills and mountains, there could be land degradation. In the coastal area also there could be land degradation. Then deserts and urban and semi-urban areas. So we have to solve the problem of land degradation in the hill. So there are different set of corrective measures or different methods to control land degradation in the hilly area. One example of controlling land degradation in hilly area is contour plowing and terrace farming. You have learned in your previous classes about terrace farming and contour plowing. So this year also we will discuss how contour ploughing and terrace farming helps in reducing land degradation. I will give you a very brief idea about a mountain. This is a mountain. And we are now trying to construct a level. Now this slope is converted into terrace. Terrace or step. सीढ़ी बना दिए हैं, एक माउंटेन स्लोप है, सीढ़ी बना दी है. Now there is rainfall on the mountain slope. Whatever the water it will have in stream of slope. Here the water directly comes down, so erosion is more. Erosion is more on one side of the hill slope, and on the other side of the hill slope, we have converted the slope into stair or terrace. And now what happens, whenever it rains, the water is now coming down the slope slowly because it has to come through steps or stairs. So it is unable to create enough force to erode the slope on this side. And another thing is that if we plant some crops here, we have planted some crops on the side where there is step or terrace. Now what happens if it rains? The crop will also obstruct the free flow of the running water or the rainwater, and they will absorb it. They will increase the moisture. They will increase the water content of the soil, and also we will get the harvest, and the soil is also protected in that area, and finally land degradation is managed, and also we have opened up a way of economic development. So that is how terrace cultivation can reduce land degradation. Simultaneously we can get some benefit out of it. So this is one technique or method to improve land degradation, and we can also convert a wasteland or unutilized land into valuable land. Another technique is contour ploughing. So this is terrace. This is a terrace farming. All right. So next one is contour ploughing. So we will again plot a mountain. We have a mountain. All right, and we will now understand contour. Now, if we climb up the mountain, it is very difficult to move up the mountain. But if we go along the mountain, we are now encircling with rings. One side is visible, another side, the dotted one is on the other side of the mountain. So if we encircle the mountain by following a contour pattern, then we can bring this area into plough. We can cultivate this hill slope, and we can plant the crops, and we can get the benefit from the entire hill slope. Here one side of the mountain is converted into terrace, another side is not done. We can do it and get the benefit. Here what happens, we are not making any step or terrace. We are just going around the hill, and we are reaching the top. So can we run a tractor along the mountain like this? Please respond. Can a tractor go like this? It can go the other way and it can climb this way. Is it possible for the tractor to go around and climb the mountain like this? Tell me. Can we go around the mountain? Have you seen any nut and bolt? A nut on a bolt, it encircles and it changes the position up and down the bolt. Likewise, in a hill slope also, we can move around and we can just convert the hill into a plowable land. Okay, so this is one technique adopted in the hilly and mountain area, and we can get the benefit out of it. Next is coastal area. In the coastal area, we can plant rows of trees over a large area. So shelter belt, the word means that large number of trees are planted in rows, and all those trees are responsible for controlling the erosion both by wind and sea waves in the coastal area. Then we can create awareness. We can ask the local people to protect the mangroves or the existing forest of the coastal area, and we can also control on the beach activity, on the movement of the tourist arrival on the beach, and any kind of degradationary practices that is done by human beings. So these are some of the ways to restrict or to bring or to reduce the land degradation. Now next is desert. In the desert also, we can find out that there are problems of desertification. So what happens is that in the desert, if there is no vegetation, if there is no cactus or date palm or any other native tree or plant found in the deserts, then the winds are free to remove the soil or the sand from that area, and that action of the wind is responsible for the spreading of desert in an uncontrolled manner. And that is also responsible for land degradation of the surrounding area. So deserts keep consuming the nearby area. So we need to stop them. We need to block their movement. For that, the natural method is to protect the plant cover of that area, that is the bushes, thorny bushes or cactus, etc. And we can also use the technique of bunding or raising some walls or fences around the desert, but that is costly, that is human-made technique. But natural method is that if we plant cactus or thorny bushes, then they can restrict the spread of desert. All right. So these are the ways of controlling the land degradation in hill, mountain, coastal area, desert area. What steps can be taken in semi-urban areas and urban areas? In the urban areas, there is excessive growth of human population. So everyday disposal of domestic waste or industrial waste or sewerage, these are the problems. So we need to manage, we need to treat them, and there should be planned and there should be concerted efforts from the urban community to dispose the waste